Hello, good morning. Today is uh, Energetic Foundations number 2, and I am so excited to share it with you. Hold on for just a moment, and we'll just get it all set up. Okay, today we are learning about personal energies, personalized energy work, and the power of meditation. Last lesson, we learned about how the body is a way that we can experience energy work. We learned about what energy is, what the energy is in energy work, and today we're going to kind of delve in a little bit more into the different types of energy fields that there are, and how different people react to energy differently. There are 3 types of people: spiritual, mental, and emotional. And I wrote there are 3 types of people, but really it's 3 types of looking at the world, 3 ways to experience the world: spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. No one is just spiritual or just emotional, but many people are primarily one or the other. Some people are pretty evenly split, but there's always going to be one, unless you are 33% spiritual, 33% mental, and 33% emotional, there's going to be one that you're a little bit more in tune with, a little bit that you resonate with a little bit more. And before I even go any further, I've been using this breakdown in my work recently just to discover what people most resonate with in energy work so that I can tailor my work to them. And somebody asked, oh no, I'm this spiritual, I'm that mental, I'm that emotional, but I'm not physical. Is it normal to not experience the world physically? And I thought, oh, I hadn't even thought about that. And the answer is that this breakdown is really it's a breakdown that we've always had. Before we had bodies, we had this breakdown. So no, physical experience of the world does not fit into that, because everyone who has a body experiences the world physically 100%, and that's like not even on the same scale as this kind of breakdown. So I did not even include that, but these are the 3 types of interacting with the world and understanding the world. So the emotional type is primarily concerned with emotions. These are the feelings that you yourself possess, and then the feelings that other people possess. And people who are primarily emotional relate to the world in an emotional way. And everything comes back to, how do I feel, and what are the feelings involved here? And for these people, emotional energy work is the most effective. So when you are a person that is primarily emotional, when you are preoccupied with emotions, your own emotions, other people's emotions, then you're really going to want to look at things that deal with releasing emotions, clearing emotions, resetting your subconscious mind so that it has a higher threshold for experiencing positive emotions. That kind of work is going to be really effective for people who are primarily emotional. Some people are primarily mental. The mental way of looking at the world is everything to do with beliefs, ideas, and concepts. This is thinking more than feeling or connecting. Mental work includes things like theta, belief programming, subconscious programming, and that sort of thing, much more so than releasing emotions. So with an emotional person, maybe to clear whatever problem they're having, so say the person has a sore knee. Maybe in an emotional person, the problem is going to be an emotion. And so maybe they'll have a trapped feeling of anger in their knee, that they need to forgive someone. They haven't forgiven yet, they still feel angry, and all those anger molecules are lodged in their knee. And I do mean molecules on a literal way. Our body does manufacture the literal chemicals of emotion, and these literal chemicals do get stuck and lodged in the body, and that is often what causes unexplained pain or fatigue, all of that kind of thing. So maybe there's molecules of anger stuck in this knee, and for a primarily emotional person, that is likely to be the case. For a primarily mental person, maybe it's not an emotion, but maybe it's a belief system. Maybe this person has a fear of moving forward in their life, and these beliefs, the actual physical structures of these beliefs of I can't move ahead, it's not safe to move forward, it's not safe to be more than I am now. Maybe those molecules are stuck in the knee and it's causing problems there. Maybe you have a problem with your beliefs. And so in that case, releasing emotions is, it might help. It could actually do a lot of good to release like fear of moving forward or stress about moving forward. But for a primarily mental person, this problem is possibly more likely to have to do with a belief. And so you can clear these emotions of stress or fear or worry or anxiety all the day long, but if they still have this belief, moving forward, I must be anxious about moving forward. Moving forward is terrifying. You can clear terror all day, but their body will just keep on manufacturing it and stuffing it in that knee, because the real issue is not the emotion for them. The real issue is the belief structure that is causing that emotion. So anytime that we are feeling these negative emotions, there is most likely a mental structure behind it that is causing the manufacture of that emotion. So mental energy work is going to be stuff like theta work, subconscious programming, where the practitioner actually goes in and looks at the subconscious mind and finds out the exact belief programs and then alters them. So that is a kind of work that I do. I mean, a lot of people do it. And this is primarily mental work. It's going to be very effective for people who are primarily mental in how they view the world. So the third type is spiritual. These people are very connection-centric. They relate to the world through connection, and without strong connections to their own self, to other people, to God, they feel very disoriented and floundering. So if you are this kind of person, the real word to connect to is connection. And people who are primarily spiritual are very preoccupied with connection. And there are a couple of people that come to mind for me that are primarily spiritual, and they always talk about connection. If they have a problem in their life, they say, oh, I feel so disconnected. I feel so disconnected from God. I feel so disconnected from my own gifts. Anytime somebody's talking about feeling disconnected, that is a really good hint that they are probably primarily spiritual in how they view the world. So people who are primarily spiritual in how they view the world need mostly spiritual energy work. And so that has to do with connecting and integrating the self's inner light and essence to other parts of both the self and other sources of pure light, inner light. Basically spiritual work has to do with who and how people really are, and being connected to them. Okay, so this is like higher self to higher self, your true self to true self, wanting to connect to others, to the self, to God on this extremely pure, higher level. And so getting these people very connected and removing their blocks to connection is going to be very effective for them. So primarily emotional people may or may not have turbulent emotions. They may or may not feel emotional all the time, and they may or may not think of themselves as emotional people. Primarily spiritual people may or may not feel spiritual, may or may not desire connection, may or may not think of themselves as spiritual. Primarily mental people may or may not be quote-unquote smart, may or may not spend a lot of time thinking, or may not think of themselves as mental people. So basically, not everybody might automatically think like, oh, I must be emotional, or oh, I must be spiritual. Sometimes we block off our true strengths in an attempt to protect ourselves. For example, very, very emotional people might block off how sensitive they are to emotions because they're so sensitive. So you can have people that are extremely one or the other, but kind of shut it down and don't want to experience that. And so those people, they may not feel emotional all the time, but at the end of the day, maybe they really are primarily emotional, and so forth. And the other thing to remember is that, so I was working on a client the other day who was 34% emotional and 36% spiritual and 30% mental. So for this person, it's very different. For me, I personally am 81% mental and like, what, 10% emotional and like 9% spiritual or something. Like, I am extremely mental. And so mental work is very, very effective on me, but it's not going to be as effective. Like, you know, I might be primarily mental and have 81%, but somebody else could be primarily mental with 34% mental. And so, you know, how effective these things are, or how much people relate to their primary type, can differ person to person. And it really depends on the person, depends on the situation, can depend on, you know, how you grew up and how your family thought about primarily mental people or primarily spiritual people. Have you shut down these parts of yourself? Are you really living in them? So on and so forth. So I'm just going to just come out and say it. Obviously none of these are better than the other. It's great to be primarily emotional. It's great to be primarily spiritual. It's great to be primarily mental. It doesn't matter. These are just aspects of our personality and aspects of who we are. They're tools. It's good. We need all the types, and your type is important, and your type is perfect for you, and it's perfect for the people around you also. And whatever your makeup is in this regard, it is perfect for your life. It's just perfect, okay? And I just believe it. It's perfect. So this is what I was talking about. People can have different proportions. And here we have 86% mental, 6% spiritual, 8% emotional. You're primarily mental. 64% spiritual, 26% emotional, 10% spiritual. Oh, that's silly. That's a typo. Sorry, guys. That one was supposed to be 10% mental, and that makes you primarily spiritual at 64% spiritual. And here at the bottom, even though these numbers are much more evenly split than the other two, this person is still primarily emotional, even though spiritual is a close turn up, and mental is not that far different from spiritual either. So what type are you? What type of energy work is going to most align with your personal type? This is a really important question, especially for people who have been trying a lot of different types of energy work, or been going to a certain practitioner for a long time and maybe not getting the results that they wanted. A lot of times, if you're not getting the results that you want, it's because somebody is taking the wrong approach for your personal type. And that's really not their fault. Most people are not even aware of how much this can affect everything. You know, we don't, energy work, there are so many different modalities, everybody's teaching different stuff. So it's not your practitioner's fault if they're using a primarily emotional method on you, but you're secretly primarily spiritual. So this is the time to take responsibility for your own healing and ask yourself, which am I? And if you know how to muscle test, and you can muscle test on it, that cuts down the time significantly. But you can just ask yourself, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, which am I? Am I primarily emotional? Take a deep breath and say, say yes, I am primarily emotional, yes. And take a deep breath and see if you feel a lightness and a movement going upwards in your body, or if you feel kind of a heaviness or nothing, no response. If you're feeling that light movement, then that means yes, I am primarily emotional. So just feel yourself. And now we'll ask, am I primarily mental? And take your deep breath and think the word yes. And if it really is yes, you're going to feel that movement up through your chest, up maybe through your throat even. You're going to start feeling this movement of energy in your system, moving upwards and lighter. And if the answer is no, even when you think the word yes and take your breath, then you're going to feel nothing. You're going to feel a downward movement. You're going to feel something in kind of the pit of your stomach. And then, are you primarily spiritual? Think, am I primarily spiritual? And take a deep breath. And if you feel that movement upwards, then the answer is yes. And if you don't feel anything or feel this movement downwards, then the answer is no. So just take your deep breaths and feel that. And I do urge you to write it down. These are other questions you can ask. Do you talk about feeling disconnected? If disconnection and connection are words that you use a lot, you're probably a spiritual type. Are you preoccupied with your feelings, either actually feeling them or blocking them out? If emotions are a thing that are kind of a trigger for you in a significant way, then you may be primarily emotional. And another signal is for mental. If you talk about your thoughts or think abstractly, if you just think and think and think all the day, then you're probably primarily mental. And then here we have the backside. Do you excessively resist the ideas of feeling disconnected or being preoccupied with feelings or thinking? And basically the issue is less, so here I wrote preoccupied with your feelings. You can be preoccupied with your feelings by really feeling everything all the time, or you can be preoccupied with your feelings by being preoccupied with blocking them out. And both sides of that coin indicate being primarily emotional, if that makes sense. So it's less, it can be less of the doing of being mental or spiritual or emotional, and more with the preoccupation surrounding that entire concept. Are you excessively preoccupied with feeling disconnected or not paying attention to the connections between yourself and others? Like, both sides of that coin can indicate being primarily spiritual. But really just take a minute and think about yourself. As soon as I discovered I was 81% mental, I thought, oh my gosh, everything makes so much sense. Ever since I was a child, I have just loved to think, and I just think and think and think. And I have very deep emotions, but I can talk myself out of them with my mind. And I will just say, well, it's dumb to feel that way, so I'm just not going to feel that, And it works pretty well for me, or at least it has, And I have several primarily spiritual friends who talk about feeling disconnected, and I just never, I understand what that means theoretically, but I just don't resound with that. And as a person that's about 8% spiritual in that respect, that makes a lot of sense for me. Disconnection is really not high on my list of things to think about when I can think about thinking and so on. So think about yourself, feel about yourself, connect with yourself, and you can just kind of get a feel for what kind of type you are. And this can help you select the kind of practitioner that you want to work with. So here, I already mentioned this earlier, but there's 3 different kinds of energy work. And I mean, you could probably, there's many ways to classify the many different kinds of energy work. A hug counts as energy work, okay? But emotion releasing is emotional. Belief programming and work with the subconscious mind is mental. And connection work is spiritual. The one thing that they all have in common is the body, okay? So here we have all the different kinds of energy work, but whether you're no matter what kind you need done on you, the real hint is that everybody has a body. No, it doesn't matter if you're primarily mental, primarily spiritual, primarily emotional, you have a body. And that is a big deal, and it's a big deal with energy work. The body is the link to thought, emotion, and spirit. The body is the connector. Everybody has one. When we improve our relationship with our body and get to know our body better, we automatically improve our thoughts and our emotions and our connections. Body-focused energy work that centers on pranic or chi blocks, can help anybody and also everybody, because the body is the interface for every person. And the body can determine where the energy will go to best benefit that person. Okay, I'm going to stay on this page for a little minute and elaborate. Whether you are mental or emotional or spiritual, if you can work through your own physical body to do energy work, your body is going to control where that energy flows for your best healing. Physical body work, and I'm talking like Reiki, quantum touch type of stuff. I do just a non-specific healing touch that's based on a number of modalities that I have learned. But anytime that you are working with the body's direct energy field, your body is going to act as the moderator. And if you're primarily emotional, it's going to go work on your emotions. If it's primarily spiritual, the energy that is put into your system through that kind of modality is going to go right to clearing out your blocks to connection, and so on and so forth. It can clear out your bad belief programming, and, or shall I say, unhelpful belief programming. And so in this lesson, we are learning about body-focused energy work as a modality that can transcend, like no matter which type you are, this modality can work for you. So we're going to talk about Chi and Prana. Chi is the life force energy, the energy that keeps us alive. Prana is also life force energy that is manufactured as you breathe in. Some people say that they are the same thing, and frankly, until I started working on this class, I also believed they were the same thing. But as I started working on this exact lesson, I got this big warning of, no, these are not the same thing. There are many different types of life force energy that the human body uses. So these are my definitions of the basic life force energies that I came up with as I was working on this class. So you can pray about these your own self. You can, do that exercise where you breathe about them your own self. And you don't have to believe these things. I am not asking that of you, but I am presenting them for your consideration. That there are 5 basic life force energies that are different from each other, separate from each other, but all still very important, and they have to work together. The first is Chi, life force energy originating from within the physical body, within the physical heart. Your physical heart manufactures Chi, or life force energy. Prana is the life force energy originating from the breath, and this is manufactured by an energy system around the lungs. I discovered this a few months ago when I had a client and I heard that voice in my mind that just said, check their prana manufacturing system. And I said, I have no idea what that is, but okay. And I checked it out and I saw that there is, it almost looks like a little factory thing going on in the lungs area. And so I could see that their prana manufacturing system was, just all messed up. And so I prayed and figured out how to stick it all back together, and it worked out just fine. But there is a separate pranic manufacturing system that is separate from the Chi manufacturing system, and that was the big takeaway for me from that experience, is that Chi and Prana are clearly not the same, because there's a Prana manufacturing system and there's a Chi manufacturing system. And then in the coming months, I discovered several more systems, which we'll continue learning about right now. The first is the Terra, life force energy, and this originates from the earth. And our bodies take that in by an energy system that is located in the feet and legs, primarily from the knees and downwards. So between your knees and your feet, that's the area of your body that is taking in life force energy from the earth. If you've heard of earthing, that's where you go and immerse your feet in soil and dirt and earth. And it's supposed to be very grounding and very healing. That is an activator for your Terra manufacturing system. And in my experiments with the Terra manufacturing system, what I've been discovering is that most people, it's either not functional at all or just barely functional. And I've concluded that it's because most of us don't spend a lot of time in nature, period, and particularly without our shoes on, including me. I will say I just have such a thing with dirt. I just don't want to touch it. So, and that is probably a Terra manufacturing problem that I need to deal with. But having your feet actually touch the earth can activate your Terra life force energy system. The next one is the Sola life force energy system, and this originates from the sun, and it is manufactured by an energy system in the crown. It looks like kind of a big sphere around the head, and it kind of sucks in I would say planetary energies, primarily from the sun, but that's also where you would pick up energy from like the moon or, you know, whatever heavenly bodies are out there. And I know this sounds like totally ridiculous, but I have seen it with my own eyes, and so I know it's there, but you don't have to believe it. That's fine with me. And then finally, we have the Dei, life force energy system, and that is life force energy that originates from God himself, and that is accepted by an energy acceptance system in the heart essence areas. This is not within, well, it is within the physical heart, but it's different from Chi, and it's on kind of a whole different plane. And this is kind of like the light from God that he sends to every person, and we have the opportunity to accept it. So these are the 5 basic life forces. Not everybody accepts the use of all of them into their life, and actually I have not really met anybody who has all 5 of these channels open, and certainly not open 100%. Most people that I've worked on and have investigated with this, as far as just, you know, checking out their energy fields to see what's going on in there, most people have maybe 3 of them functioning, and most of the time their one that is most functional is not more than 70% functional, and most of the time they have at least one that's completely off or not even there. Sometimes our energy manufacturing systems can shut down or flee because of trauma. Like, for example, if you experience a violent, basically anything violent, whether that is a physically violent thing or like a violent emotion, or you're in like a car accident or something like that, anything that is very abrupt and very traumatic, no matter what it is, it can cause your energetic systems to shut down or move around and just do weird stuff. So most people don't have all 5 working, but having them all working is what's going to give you that feeling of being vitalized, feeling energized, all of that. So we're talking about the body as an interface. Doing life force energy work to increase the amount of Chi, Prana, Sola, and Terra in a person will help every kind of person, because every person has a body, okay? The body is going to use these energies where they are most needed, and the body-mind knows where the energy is most needed. It can be used to break through mental blocks, spiritual blocks, or emotional blocks, as I was saying earlier. The body-mind is not always correct about what is most needed, but it's still a good start for the vast majority of people. Even when the body-mind gets the priorities wrong, any step forward, any step upward is the right direction. So sometimes the body is not 100% clear on what the body needs, and that is a really good thing to have your energy worker check for you as you are on your healing journey. You know, does my body even know about these problems that I'm dealing with? So a lot of times when people come in for chronic pain, I'll ask, does your autonomic control system even know that you're experiencing back pain, or that you have digestive problems, or so on and so forth? And a lot of times the body will say, oh wait, what? No, I didn't know that. And it's because we have these mental blocks, spiritual blocks, and emotional blocks that are blocking things up. You know, say maybe your body is carrying an emotion of fear of living your highest truth, or, you know, saying what you need to say. And so that fear has really shut it down from being in touch with, you know, maybe your knee pain or so on. And so basically the body, spirit, mind, emotions all work together, and maybe the body mind doesn't always know 100% of what's going on with your overall person, your overall self. But if you use your body as an interface anyway, it's going to do a lot of good for you, because if you are constantly upping your different life force energies and filling up those systems 100%, when one system is 100% full, like say your chi system is functioning at 100%, then you're going to have the chi available in your body to start working on your prana system, and it can start healing that up, or it will start healing up the blocks that are keeping you from being aware that there's a pranic manufacturing problem, so on and so forth. The point is, doing life force energy work on yourself can be very effective. And it's a great way to prepare your body for more advanced energy work. It's a great way to get to know your body better. It's a great way to just feel more energetic. And so here I listed Chi, Prana, Sola, and Terra. And obviously the last one is Dei energy, and a lot of people block that because they block God, or they block feeling connected with him out of guilt or out of disbelief or out of all sorts of reasons. And so so doing life force energy work for that particular system is all about releasing our own blocks to accepting that type of energy from the spiritual connection with our higher power. So this lesson's goals are to practice using the body as an interface for healing and experiencing healing energy in the physical body. So I'm going to leave my video off for right this minute, and I want you to just rub your hands back and forth together, okay? We're waking up the nerve endings in our fingers. Okay, when you're ready, I want you to stop and feel that kind of buzzing feeling in your hands, and put your hands really close together, but don't let them touch, and kind of go out and in with your hands, out and in, close and further apart, and see if you can feel that feeling of something squishing. An energy field that's squishing. That's your energy field. When your nervous system is more awake to it, you can feel it, like you feel it in your hands right now, okay? And take your deep breath. Breathing is so, so important for this. The pranic system is manufactured with our breath. And so you just want to breathe a lot. Most people don't breathe enough to sustain normal health. Our bodies have enormous needs for oxygen, enormous needs for air, and in our modern world, we slouch, we are not sitting properly, we don't maintain proper posture even when standing, we breathe shallowly, okay? And that is a problem for overall health. So if you really want to be healthy, then it's time to breathe more, but this is especially important when you're using your body as an interface for healing. To have your energy field flow, you've got to have enough air, so you just have to breathe. And sometimes breathing can be triggery for people. I don't know. Some people don't want to breathe, but you just have to breathe. Just do it. Now I want you to put your hands over your heart. Okay, and you're just going to keep on breathing. Don't press into yourself, but just a gentle touch, or you can even just hover above your heart area. And take some deep breaths and just listen to me talk about breathing for a minute. Just yesterday, I was reading a book where he talked about how fear is excitement without the breath. And he said, when you feel fear and you don't feed it air, fear is fear because it doesn't have enough air. And if you can just breathe through your fear, then it will become excitement. So if you're a person that is living in fear of anything, I urge you to breathe more. It is time to take responsibility for your feelings of fear, and it is time for you to begin manufacturing them into feelings of excitement. And the way that you will do that is by feeding your fears breath. Breath, breath. So right now we have the hands over the physical heart, and what we're doing is creating a circuit that is allowing our own chi to circulate, okay? The chi is manufactured in the heart, and it goes throughout the body, and right now we're using that chi. It's going through our shoulders and our elbows and our wrists and our fingers and going right back into the heart. I teach a healing touch class, and so I don't want to go into the whole, everything about healing touch, but one of the things that we learn in that class is how when we create these connections, when we create these circuits, we begin to blast through pranic blocks, chi blocks, basically any life force energy block that's going on in the body. We can clear it this way by breathing and with a light, gentle touch, or even by just hovering over the area. And honestly, it even works remotely. And I often do remote physical healing like that for clients, and it all works because of quantum physics, and it's very cool. But Right now, all we have to focus on is having our hands over our heart and some good breathing. That's allowing those connections to form, and we're just going to blast through some blocks in the heart. The heart, life force energy, it needs to be flowing to be healthy. And that is what we're doing right now. Just by touching our heart area, is we're getting a flow going that is going to allow these blocks to clear. So anytime that we're living out of alignment with truth, capital T, truth, it's just going to cause problem. It will cause emotional pain, it will cause spiritual pain, it will cause physical pain. And so anytime that you're experiencing pain or acute discomfort, that should be a signal to you that there is something in your own body, spirit, emotions, thought programming that is not in alignment with ultimate truth. So how do you deal with that then? Well, as I mentioned in this lesson, there's lots of ways. If the issue is a belief program, such as I'm not good enough, then maybe you need somebody who can clear belief programs. If the problem is an emotion like shame, maybe you need somebody who can clear shame. And if your problem is feeling disconnected with yourself, maybe you need someone who can do, a heart repair, an energetic heart repair and reconnection, and so on and so forth. But how physical energy work works, like we're doing right now, you are doing energy work on your own self just by lightly touching your own body and breathing in and breathing out very deeply and slowly. You are doing your own energy work. That works by creating a circuit that can clear up the physical manifestation of those blocks. Every spiritual block, every emotional block, every mental block, all of those blocks are going to have an actual energetic component that is lodged somewhere in the body. And if you can find it and breathe it out using your hands and your breath, then you can clear those issues on your own. And some things can take a really long time to clear that way, and some things don't. Some things can clear really easily. In my Healing Touch class, I talk about how the human body we naturally use touch for healing. Here, I'll put my video back on, but you just leave your hands where you are. Exit. Okay. Back to me. You keep your hands on your chest, but I will give you a quick example. What do we do when we're surprised? You might go, or you might clutch yourself. However, I'm so surprised. And this is the body's natural reaction to feeling surprise. And if you leave your hands there long enough, it's going to clear those emotions out of your system so that they don't cause long-term problems. Because a lot of people, I would say almost every day I work with a client who has residual shock from this event or that event. And if they had only just touched themselves long enough and breathed through that emotion, they could have cleared it on out of their body, but instead it's causing digestive problems, it's causing physical pain or chronic fatigue, and so on and so forth. But when you're angry, you might put your hands on your hips, and this is your body's way of helping you, clear out these emotions, keeping your hands there. I mean, your hands end up right around the root chakra, which is all about survival issues, and most people, when you're feeling angry, a lot of times it's because you feel like you're threatened on a very primal level. Even if you don't think that's what you're feeling, if you really dig in, I can almost guarantee a lot of your anger has to do with survival-related issues. And so having your hands right around your root chakra, right at the base of your spine, right by your hips, that's a great place to clear out that energy. And connecting the heart to that area, clearing out those energies. If you're scared, you might grab yourself like this in this protective move, or you might just cross your arms like that. You're still creating a circuit. Hugs are energy work, where you're creating your circuit with yourself and the other person. It's very spiritually healing because you're connecting on all these levels. basically, we naturally do this kind of physical healing energy work on our own selves. And most people just have no idea that that's what they're doing. Your body knows how to heal itself, and it can heal itself through these energy movements and touches, and what you're using is you're using your body as an interface for healing. You're using your own chi system, your own pranic system, to generate these energies in your own hands and create these connections that allow for the flow of movement, and that is just really great. Okay, we have a few more minutes, and I wanted quickly to teach you a basic meditation. This is Kundalini meditation, and there are plenty of classes on Kundalini meditation. If you're really interested in digging deep into it, we can do that. But I love Kundalini meditation because it is a way to use the body as an interface for subconscious healing, emotional healing, spiritual healing. And this is something that you can just do on your own. And there's plenty of YouTube videos on it. I have articles on how to do it. I'd love to talk to people about it. Come email me directly. I would love to hear from you, and we can talk about Kundalini meditation. But right now, let's just do it, okay? We're going to do it. It's going to take just a few minutes. So you start by sitting up with your back straight and shoulders relaxed, and we're going to rub our hands together like this. And you're going to put your hands like this and plug your thumbs into your sternum, okay? And we're going to sing now, but you can just, I'll put in the words in the description of this video so that you can know what to say. But the words are Ong Namo, Guru Dev Namo. I bow to the divine wisdom within. And we're going to chant it 3 times, and you just follow along, and we'll just tune in. Every Kundalini meditation, you start by doing this, or every session of meditations. You can do lots of meditations and only tune in once, but you always start this way. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. Good job, you're tuned in. And now we're going to do a quick curtain kriya. This is considered one of the most basic and primary Kundalini meditations. It's good for everything, every problem. You can solve it with curtain kriya, basically. Everyone should do curtain kriya. And so the mantra for curtain kriya, that is the words that you say, are sa, ta, na, ma. Okay? It means birth, life, death, and resurrection or rebirth. So I'm a Christian. I feel like it is a symbol of Christ. Other people can interpret it differently, but that's how I interpret it. Birth, life, death, resurrection, sa, ta, na, ma. And sometimes you can use rebirth for resurrection, but this is a meditation that helps us move through all of those cycles. We're moving forward towards a rebirth of our energy system, our body, our heart, our mind, our spirit, everything. We're moving forward. We're going to be reborn. It's a beautiful idea. This is the mudra, which is the hand motion, sa, ta, na, ma. And you do it with your 2 hands, sa, ta, na, ma. And you do it with your hands down at your sides, so they're like on your knees. Sorry, this is not working very well like that. And so you just sit up straight. If you can't sit cross-legged, that's fine. Don't even worry about it. You sit in your chair, but you just want to keep your back straight as you can, keeping your hands on your knees And we're going to do Satanama. And so how Curtain Kriya works, you're going to sing it first for 1 minute. You're going to whisper it for 1 minute. You're going to think it for 2 minutes. Whisper it for 1 minute. And then sing it for 1 minute. And then, excuse me, at the end, we're going to raise our arms up like this and squeeze everything in our torso and hold the breath, and then we're going to relax. And that's the whole meditation. You don't have to clear your mind or any of that silly business that is so annoying and barely even seems to help, right? I always disliked trying to clear my mind and not have to think, and I thought, oh my gosh, I just clear my mind for 1 second, and then all of a sudden I'm thinking of all sorts of weird stuff. And the nice thing about Kundalini meditation is that that is just not how it is. So I'm going to put on a song for us. And, wait 1 moment, I'm getting it. Sorry. And so you just breathe, and you can keep your hands on your heart for a second while I pull up the right video for us. You can just go to YouTube and search for Satanama, and you'll come up with stuff that you can meditate with. Okay, here we go. So go ahead and take your deep breaths. Sorry. Just follow along with me. Oh no, this is the wrong version. I'm sorry, guys. I will time it, and we will just sing it. Okay, ready, set, go. Satanama, 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 Satanama. Eyes closed. Satanama, 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 Satanama. Now whispering. Sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, ma, sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na. Now we're going to think it. We're doing an abbreviated version because I'm going to have an asthma attack here apparently. While you guys are thinking your Satanama, I'm going to go get a drink of water real fast. Okay, and now we're going to go back to whispering, eyes closed. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 Now back to singing. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 Go ahead and take a big deep breath in. Reach your hands up into the air, close your eyes, squeeze your your anus, sex organs, and navel. We're going to squish as hard as you can, and then relax. Okay, there you go. You just did your first Kirtan Kriya. That was a very abbreviated one. A normal Kirtan Kriya takes 7 minutes to perform. Now it took about 3.5, so it was still fine. We did about halfsies, and that's fine. Now we're going to tune out. You always end your Kundalini meditation by tuning out. So you rub your hands together, plug your thumbs into your sternum again. We're going to say the word Sat Nam 3 times. So just follow along. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Bring your hands to your head, back to your heart, bringing the head and heart into alignment. Sat Nam. That was your first Kundalini meditation. It's a great way to use the voice and the hands to rewire the brain. All of your nerve endings in your fingers go right to your brain. And so when you are using different hand motions, you're changing the structure of your brain. And the roof of the mouth is only about a 1/2 inch below your brain. And so the different sounds that you make with your mouth do affect the resonance of your brain. So doing these types of meditations can actually change your brain structure and change how your brain vibrates. And so that is a really good thing. So I'll put some links to other Kundalini meditation videos where you can find them. Please reach out to me directly with questions, but this was lesson 2 of Energetic Foundations, learning to use your body as an interface and discovering the different types of people and types of energy work. And I hope this lesson was helpful to you. Have a great day.